if I'm going to post this one. Diversity in stories. Diversity has become such a prickly issue, and it's gone beyond its original mandate into territories of a different type of white supremacy. A type of white supremacy where white people gain status by how many non-white people they have graciously descended from Mount Olympus and blessed with an opportunity to appear in their stories. It's another form of white supremacy in the guise of charity. It's been done for the wrong reasons. It's been done in the wrong type of... It's just been done in the wrong way. The question that I ask is, what is your goal? In the Bible, there is a story. Well, there's several stories like this, but one story always comes to mind. There is, Jesus and his disciples are in a big old megachurch that is being constructed, one of the temples. And there's a bunch of rich guys there who have donated huge sums of money to the temples, and they are bragging loudly about their donations. And while they're there, this poor woman shows up. And she's got her kid with her, and she kind of sneaks in, and she puts 3 pennies into the box, and then does a little prayer and leaves. Nobody even notices. Jesus points to the young woman and says to his disciples, that woman right there is much more blessed than those rich men right there. And the disciples who have been hit with the idiot stick once again are like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean, boss? What do you mean? And Jesus says, those men do not donate to the church because they believe in the church. They donate for the status, which is the blessing they will receive. Status here on earth. They gain nothing in the eyes of the Lord. But that woman there, even though she only gave 3 pennies, that was all she had. She gave it because she felt it was her responsibility to do so. She gave it because she felt she needed to. She didn't ask for praise. She didn't ask for a reward. She did it because she believed it was the right thing to do. And so she did it with all her heart. So if you're interested in diversity in your story, you have to do it with all your heart. You have to do it in such a way that you are respecting the people who you are putting into your stories. This means doing your research. This means after you've written it, go to people who are members of the adjacent culture or group or whatever it is, and basically talk to them about the story. Have them read it and be like, what does this say to you and your people? Is this a correct representation? Now, if you're a fantasy fiction author the way I am, I created my fantasy world with a certain amount of diversity in mind. A diversity of races. I have humans and trolls and dwarves and elves and fairies and all kinds of mystical creatures. But I also intentionally created some racially diverse biomes and cultures so that culture clashes could occur. I went out of my way to do this because it's a type of story that we now have access to. You can't really do much with the interesting of the idea that these people look different from each other, and that might have something to do with the things they say to each other. It's not available if everyone is a monoculture, or if everybody is from the same genome. If you have all black people, then they're all black. There's no talk about the differences. If they're all, all brown-skinned or all white-skinned, you lose out on story opportunities. And so when it comes to diversity in writing, don't look at it in the sense of, I, as a straight white person, owe these people my attention, because that's just another form of white supremacy. What you need to be asking is, what would including these diverse groups of people do to my story? How would it change my story? How could it make my story more interesting? Simply having that type of question in your head can cause some interesting stuff to occur. And remember, your number one priority as a fiction writer is entertaining your audience. If you preach to your audience like a condescending jerk, they're gonna resent you for it. If you act like you know all the answers, people are gonna resent you for it. If you cannot come at this with humility, you're gonna come off like a prick. Nobody's gonna want to listen to you. No one's gonna want to read your stuff. And you may actually accidentally move things in the opposite direction. I want people to get along. I want people to like each other more. I want people to understand that people are people. It doesn't matter what their skin color is. It doesn't matter what their gender expression is. It doesn't matter who they're sexually attracted to. People are people. And the more you can write stories where, the fact that somebody is gay, or the fact that somebody's got some, oddball thing, that's more detail. People are people. And that is the most important part of stories.